think some of you are networking people, but some of you aren't, so I don't really have any idea what your interest level is, or who knows what, or what you're interested in talking about. So it's kind of open and free-flowing. I mean, I had a few ideas. When I talked to Justin, he mentioned something about how, you may be interested in learning about why you would pick Cisco over some other vendor. I can talk a little bit about that, but I'm not a sales guy. It doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form. So I'll give you some of the reasons why I would, because I really do believe that they're one of the market leaders. Otherwise, I wouldn't work for them. But I don't benefit, and I don't work in sales. So I don't know. But anyway, we have a lot of cool stuff going on, and there's always interesting new products and technologies and stuff like that you can learn about. I only keep up with like this much of it because Cisco plays in way too many markets now. Like we got Flip Video, we got all the Acadia co-venture stuff we do with VMware, EMC, and all RSA and all those people. So I kind of focus in the data center segment of it. So like high-end data center routing, switching, like load balancing, security, stuff like that. Stuff you would see in like global enterprises. Because I work in a part of Cisco called Advanced Services, which is like a post-sales consulting organization. So you'll get people like I work in what they call the global enterprise theater. So it's the top 20 accounts that Cisco has. So it's like, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler's no longer there, American Express, Home Depot, Lowe's, ExxonMobil, BP. The top 20 big accounts that Cisco has. And we kind of come in, obviously, like I said, from a post-sales consulting perspective to kind of, after the salespeople kind of give their pitch, we got to be able to make sure that we can make it work, right? So they'll bring us in if they don't have a partner, or if they want us to work with the Cisco partner or with their staff to kind of make sure that it's done and it's done right, and we provide the expertise. And even though that me as a network consulting engineer is the kind of the face of Cisco engineering to that customer, I can't possibly know everything. So one of the big advantages of having a services contract is that we have resources that we can pull on internally. So if I get thrown into a problem that I don't know, that much about, I can say, hey, you that does this every day for a living, or that like invented this product, come help me install it over here. So that's part of the reason why advanced services exist. And right now I'm assigned to General Motors. So I handle global data center architecture globally for GM. So I've done projects in Singapore, in Shanghai, in Sao Paulo, Brazil, obviously in Detroit, a few other places around the world, Mexico, Toluca, Mexico. So kind of globally, like our job is, or at least part of my job is to kind of set the direction for GM on a global scale and say, hey, this is where the industry is heading. This is where we think you should be. This is what we think we can do to help you get there, and we'll stick with you throughout it to make sure that you end up where you want to be and your network infrastructure is meeting its goals for years to come. So with that being said, I thought I would talk a little bit about, given my background being data center and me having no strict schedule, a little bit about some Cisco specific stuff, like why you would choose Cisco, why they're the market leader, stuff like that Justin kind of wanted me to talk about. That I'm not a sales guy, so I don't speak very well to, but I'll give it a shot. And then some of the data center specific stuff, because although that is what I do and that is what my focus has been, that is one of the hot areas right now that we're kind of putting a lot of effort and a lot of R&D money into, and that a lot of people, if they go to work for if they come out of college and they go to work for a big company, you're going to be dealing with data center stuff on a large scale. So it's kind of cool to learn about some of the new stuff they have going on there. So with that being said, why would you pick somebody like Cisco? I don't know. Obviously, they're the market leader, right? So everybody knows, well, pretty much everybody knows that Cisco's like the leader in networking. So if you're going to buy a router or a switch or a firewall or whatever it may be, Cisco is pretty much the brand name. It's been said that you know, 80% of the internet globally is run on Cisco equipment or powered by Cisco equipment. I don't know what the statistic is at now. You know, there's other players in the market. You know, people like Juniper play more heavily in the service provider market. So I don't know, but it's a large number. And so that's pretty much, I mean, people used to say a while back, like, you know, nobody ever lost their job for choosing IBM. Well, Cisco's kind of that way in the networking world, right? So, you know, we may not be the best at every little point product that we do, but we're kind of, you know, we kind of offer that depth of product expertise. So, you know, our firewall may not be the best, but when you pair our firewall with our switch and we can do all this fancy stuff that only Cisco can do, you know, it kind of gives you an advantage that you wouldn't have if you just, you know, piecemeal equipment from every vendor. And not to mention the ease of manageability and having one throat to choke when you have a problem is kind of nice. So, also, in addition to just being the market leader and having one throat to choke and the manageability and all that stuff, part of the reason why they're at where they are today in the marketplace is because a lot of the stuff that, you know, people learn in networking, protocols and things like that, were actually invented as a pre-standard by Cisco, and a lot of Cisco employees sit on like the IEEE and the IETF and they write the standards, right? So a lot of the standards that you see out there, like things like you know, variations of the spanning tree protocol, HSRP, which is used for first hop redundancy, MPLS, you know, those were all kind of at least partially invented by Cisco, and all those are very big technologies used today. So they've kind of had that reputation for being the pioneer in the industry. So, you know, there are other vendors. You know, Extreme Networks kind of still plays in the switching market a little bit. Juniper's big in the routing market, in the service provider segment, and they recently came out with a switching line. But, you know, by far, Cisco is obviously the market leader, and I think a lot of the technologies that they've helped develop kind of play into that. Like MPLS, for example, used to be called tag switching in Cisco world, and I don't know if you guys know what MPLS is, but it's like a protocol. It's multi-protocol label switching. It's a technology that big companies use to kind of interconnect all their offices, you know, whether it be locally or whether it be nationally or whether it be, you know, on a global scale. And that technology was kind of actually invented by Cisco, and internally it was called tag switching before it became a standard, an industry standard, and then they changed the name to MPLS. So a lot of that stuff happens, and that's part of what secured their position in the marketplace. So with that being said, a lot of the data center stuff that Cisco has going on right now is pretty exciting too. And it's a hot market. I mean, you hear a lot now about disaster recovery. Well, you know, people's network architectures are the critical piece of their business, right? I mean, people use computers for everything now. Almost everything is internet related or in the infrastructure somewhere. I mean, even you know, it used to be that people kind of expected their computers to break, but you know, they always thought they could pick up their phone and get a dial tone and everything would be cool. But now, you know, that's all kind of converging, and you know, computers and email are even becoming more important. And that dial tone that you had before that used to come over, you know, a TDM infrastructure from your, you know, phone provider or from your carrier is now coming over your same IP network that your computer uses. So, you know, the network as an architecture is becoming more and more important to everybody's business. So, and the data center stuff plays a big role in that, right? Data centers are kind of where all your data lives and where it comes together and where you kind of host all your, you know, the core of your network architecture that powers everything that your business does. So there's a lot of stuff going on in data center that kind of like, you know, takes the industry to that next level to kind of make sure that you know, the network architecture is able to provide the needs that your business requires, you know, coming from a resiliency perspective and things like that. And there, you know, there's a lot of other things that play into this that I'll get into in a little bit. And a lot of you hear a little bit about VMware and how VMware can be used for disaster recovery with vMotion, with using virtual machines and moving in between data centers to maintain, you know, active connectivity in the event of a disaster. So I can talk to you a little bit about that, but we can start off just by talking a little bit about the new product line that Cisco has going on in the data center, and I guess it's not even really that new anymore, but they're continuously adding stuff to it. And they came out with this product line called the Nexus switch, and it's specifically for a data center, right? And they have several Nexus switches. They have a Nexus 7000 with